Let's talk about mica. Now, a lot of you are probably familiar with mica. If you are into things like cosmetics or soaps or resin or other crafts, it is a very common type of pigment and kind of agent in many of those areas. Mica is a type of a naturally forming crystal. It is a type of silicate, meaning it has silica in it, and other silicates are things like quartz and other, again, silica-containing compounds. It is formed by igneous and metamorphic processes, largely through volcanic activity. Most mica is formed through the cooling of magma and forms into either crystalline sheets or books that is mostly mica and can very easily break off into different very thin sheet layers. Or instead of large books of just mica, it can also be seen as smaller flakes or inclusions in other types of rock in things like granite or schist. Now, like I said before, mica has many uses, from anything from cosmetics to drywalling or paint pigments in drywall and cars. However, the majority of mica found nowadays is actually synthetic. Historically, mica was mined in countries such as India and used very unsafe mining and labor practices, often unpaid labor or child labor, which is bad. There's somebody fucking drag racing outside. Can you do this somewhere else? Please? Anyway, since child labor is bad and synthetic mica is quite easily made in a lab, sans child labor, the majority of micas, at the very least seen in things like soaps and cosmetics and resin crafts and everything, is entirely synthetic, which is good because you can get a much wider variety of colors from synthetic mica, not magma. You can get a much wider variety in colors and other properties like sparkle and transparency and all of that than you could in natural mica. And again, it's a fraction of the cost and so very much less human suffering involved. And chemically and structurally, it is the exact same as natural formed mica. Now, other mica uses include things like in electronic gadgets like computers and phones, as well as a insulator, and as far as I'm aware, synthetic mica can be used in those situations as well. I'm not entirely sure about the distribution of synthetic versus natural mica in all areas. I do know in a lot of cosmetics and crafting and everything, there has been a major shift over to synthetic mica, particularly in small businesses, because again, it is often much cheaper, better for the environment, and does not involve child labor. However, I'm unsure about the more industrial grade mica in things like drywalling and car paints and all of that. It could be synthetic, but it also might be natural. I don't know. If somebody knows more, please tell me about that. But for now, synthetic mica is great, and if you use mica, especially on a slightly smaller scale, then you should definitely use synthetic mica. Or just appreciate it for what it is, a very interesting rock that forms under very interesting conditions and has cool properties. It is very shiny, it is very colorful, and it's just overall a great rock.